Hi, I'm Stuart Kincaid, and I've got to admit I was guilty of neglecting my foundation. When I bought the house, I knew it had a cracked foundation, but I bought it from a friend, got a good deal. That was 7 years ago. About 5 years ago, I called somebody to come out and check out my foundation. They said that it didn't really need anything, that they would just leave it alone. Well, 5 years later, the foundation is totally cracked. I have walls that look like they're about to fall down. None of my doors in the house close. I've adjusted the door jambs several times, moving the strike plate up and down to make sure that the doors would close on occasion. I guess a couple of weeks ago I went through the phone book and saw several different foundation companies. I called about 4 or 5 of them. A few of them told me they would be here, never showed up. And a couple of the other ones couldn't get to me for about a month, and finally called ProSelect. And they were local, and they were very friendly on the phone when they came out. I decided to go with them. When I called ProSelect Foundation, I was given an appointment for an estimate, and Julio came out, took a look around, and gave me a price. It was a very fair price, and it was going to be a lot of work they were going to perform. They were able to get to my house in a few days, I think the following week, and they showed up at 7:30 in the morning. A crew of guys, I believe about 10 or 11 guys, hopped out of the trucks and immediately got to work. Within about 3 hours, they had cleared everything away, all the bushes that they needed to move, and they were digging holes around the house to install the piers. And I was amazed at how fast they got all that taken care of. They got there at 7:30, and by 9, I think they were pressing piers into the ground. That was a really amazing process to watch. Watching this hydraulic ram pressing these foot-tall concrete piers down into the ground. I believe they had to go down about 18 feet, but basically the ProSelect's method, there are a few people that'll dig a hole, I believe maybe 4 feet down, pour a slab of concrete and jack your foundation off of that. ProSelect takes the concrete piers and mashes them down into the ground until they meet max resistance. If it's 20 feet, they go down 20 feet. A 12-inch piece of concrete with a piece of rebar glued, so they glue each of these together with a steel rod in between them, and take a hydraulic press and press them into the ground using the house foundation as the weight to push them down. And then they stop, and then you can see the house shifting. That's when they know, hey, wait, we've just hit something solid. That's our part. You know, that's the mark that we're shooting for. Before they would jack the house up, they took a digital measuring device, which they zeroed out on my living room floor, and it had a long cable. And what they would do is they would take the other end of this machine and set it on the ground in the different corners of the house, and that way they were able to digitally tell exactly how much my house needed to come up. I think put 19 piers around the house. It was amazing to watch all the cracks come together. The splits in the side of my house, I believe, were about 3 inches apart up at the top. The 4 corners of my house were dropping in different angles, so pick each corner and drop it straight down. And when ProSelect came, they jacked up, let's say where my driveway is, went up probably 6 inches. The other side went up, you know, I'm not sure how much. But as they were doing it, you could just see that crack running up the side of my house just close. And that was an amazing process, and made me very happy. I had that on both sides of my house. this one of my walls, an outside wall, was actually buckling. So it looked like if it dropped any more that the bricks were going to fall out and this side would collapse. I gotta admit that it was neglected for quite a while, and it was definitely time to call ProSelect. I strongly recommend you call ProSelect. And I'm very, very, very happy with the work that they did.